If you have the borders on your summer quilt along project, then you're almost done. Today, I'm going to show you how to finish the edge. Welcome to Epida Studio. My name is Elizabeth and I help you make beautiful things with quilting, bojagi, and embroidery. So I don't know about you, but when I make a quilt, sometimes when I finish the top of the quilt, it's really exciting. I feel like I've accomplished something, and then I realize, oh, now it has to be quilted. I'm not actually done the project. I'm really only halfway through. Well, with this type of reversible patchwork project, you don't have that issue. When you're done the piecing, you're done the project. There's no batting to put on, there's no backing, no lining, you don't need to sew it together, you're almost done. And all we have to do now is finish off the edges. Now, I'm going to show you my simple option that I do to finish the edges. Some people do like to put a binding on just the way you would put a binding on a quilt. So if you would prefer that, then you can go ahead and do that, and I'll assume you already know how to do it, or you can check out a video that I have for how to put binding on by machine. But I usually don't put a binding on. I finish it with a simple hem. And so this is such an easy technique, and it gives it a strong, sturdy finish. And if your piece is hanging in a window, then it's not going to matter if you have a hem or if you have a binding. It's going to look the same, because this part is going to look like the seams. It's going to look like a dark stained glass line. So some people think if they have a project they want to put on a contrasting color, or if they think it'll give it a frame or something, that will be true if it's going to be a tablecloth or a table runner or something. But if it's hanging in the window, it's not going to give it a colored frame. That border, whether it's a hem or it's binding in a contrasting color, it's just going to look dark. So you can keep that in mind. So to do this, we're just going to do one side at a time. And so just take one side and you're just going to fold over about 1/4 of an inch, and you should be pretty good at eyeballing 1/4 of an inch by now, and press that. So we'll do that at the ironing board, press it 1/4 of an inch. And then when that's pressed, we'll fold it over again another 1/4 inch and press that again. Now, if you have fabric that has a clear right and wrong side, you'll want to press this towards the wrong side of the fabric. But if your fabric is reversible, like this batik piece, then it doesn't really matter. You can make a personal preference of which way you want to press the seams. And there's not really a right side and a wrong side, so it's totally personal choice. So I'm just going to go to the ironing board and press this side. So here's my edge. It has been folded over twice, and we can see my final hem is a little bit bigger than 1/4 of an inch, because my first press was 1/4 of an inch. So my next one is going to be a little bit bigger. That's fine. And if you want to make yours even bigger, you can feel free to do that. You can experiment and do what you like on this. And so once that's done, I'm just going to take this to the sewing machine and I'm going to top stitch right along the edge of that hem to hold it down. So here's what it looks like. It's all stitched down. So we can see it's one line of stitching on both sides of the fabric. There's no double line of stitching. And once one side is done, we'll just move on and do the next side. Some people wonder about the corners, if we should clip off the corner or try and do a mitered corner, and I generally don't. I generally just fold it over again, and that does leave a lot of fabric right in the corner. So if your sewing machine is having a hard time getting through that many layers of fabric, you could try trimming a bit off just to alleviate some of that bulk. But I generally don't. I generally just leave it like that. And I think having the layers in the corner, it just gives it a bit of sturdiness and a bit of weight to the corner. So I'll just do the same thing on the next side, fold over, press, and then top stitch along the edge to hold it down. So here we have our corner that's all done. And when I'm doing the second layer in a corner, so this side has been done and now I'm folding over, then this is one of the few times that I do back stitch when I start. I start the seam, I'll do a couple stitches, then go back and then keep going because that will just give it a little bit more security because I am just trimming off the threads at the end. On this edge, I won't backstitch on this edge because I know this is going to be folded back on top of it. But then I would backstitch when I sewed this side. So that is one of the few times that I do backstitch, and that's because this seam won't have another seam coming on top to help secure it. All my other seams are held secure in the seam allowances, but this one isn't. So you're just going to continue to work around the whole piece, doing one edge at a time, and then it's going to be done. So here it is, it's all finished and ready to be used. Now, if you're following in the 2025 summer quilt along and you were following all the way along, you might have been wondering at the beginning, when are we going to start sewing the project? We're never going to be able to finish this in the month of July. But I hope by now you've seen this is a quick and easy project and it's not super time consuming. So don't try and make it more complicated than it needs to be. And if you're making a window hanging, some people like to add little loops or hanging tabs or a sleeve to be able to hang it. And if you wanted to do that, you would add that at this time, at the same part as you're hemming the edge, and you can figure out how to do that. I generally don't add hanging loops. I like to hang mine with these little rings that have a clip on them. It looks kind of like a clothes peg. And then I can just clip it on and use those to hang it. And I like these because then I can easily turn this in a different orientation. If I want to hang it differently, turn it upside down. It's easy to switch things out because I can just unclip it. I don't need to take out the curtain rod or whatever I'm using. And I can even just put suction cups on a window and hang these rings on the suction cups to be able to hang it. So I don't bother with hanging tabs, but if you were going to do that, you would do that at this point. So let me know how it goes with hemming. I would love to hear your experiences. And if you would like your finished project to be featured in an upcoming video, then please send me a picture. I would love to see what you've made and I would love to share it with everybody else. So send me a picture. There's a link below to get contact information and tell me what fabric you used and just tell me how you would like to be credited with your name or nickname or whatever you want me to call you when I say, look what this person made. I would love to be able to feature you in a video. Now we still have more time to go before the end of July. So in our next videos, I'm going to be sharing like a show and tell of the projects that I've made, and that might give you inspiration for another project that you want to make with this pattern and this technique. If you're interested in other patterns and you want to go on and make other things, you can find those and lots of other information at my website, epidastudio.com.